Hello. Thank you for threatening to study me, and thanks again, everyone. Can we please get exactly 1 second of applause for all of our hosts, everyone? Okay. Thank you. All right, so yes, I am Brandon. I am a comedian game developer, and I'm going to talk about how I made a game called Bejeweled. Bejeweled is a mod for Bejeweled 3, and I add more blue to the game. So as you might expect, as soon as you make a move, you win. Every possible match happens simultaneously. Has anyone here seen this game before, just for curiosity? Oh, cool. The rest of you are going to be a little confused, but have fun with it. My history is I like to ruin games. So here's some arcade games that I've ruined in the past. This is a collection I made 3 years ago. So for example, like Minesweeper with only 1 mine, or Plants vs. Zombies and zombies never come, stuff like that. And I knew I wanted to make a game. I wanted to make Bejeweled. I didn't know what that meant other than it was bejeweled, but they were blue. So the only way to know was to start making it. So the first step was to start looking around at the original game, because I wanted to recreate it from scratch or something. So I found gameslol.next, obviously everyone's favorite game site. I found this weird version of Bejeweled for the web. This was made in 2011 for the Chrome Web Store. I know nothing else about it, but here it is. So I started looking into it, and it was, the Bejeweled series has so much juice, so much love, so much care into it. There's no way I was going to make it from scratch. I had to just figure out how to mod it. I'd take this code, make it my own. And thankfully, on the website, you hit F12, and the game is yours. So I simply download the entire game and start poking through the compiled JavaScript like a normal person. So as you do that, please don't bother reading this code. It doesn't deserve to be read. Compiled JavaScript is weird because all the variables come letters A, B, C. That red block, that's normal code. That's all stuffed into the bounce check of a for loop, and it doesn't deserve to be that. It's stupid. But you can figure it out. The real problem is, how do you make any gameplay changes when this is the world you're looking in? And the only way to do it is to look for clues. So I don't know if you've seen the cutting room floor is a wonderful wiki full of cheat codes, behind the scenes, leak builds, blah, blah, blah. Just a lot of stuff, behind the scenes cut stuff from games. And for some reason, someone studied this particular web game. And this is a stupid path I'm on, and to know I'm not the first one down it is actually, I don't know, that's kind of incredible. But anyway, it turns out this game has a def mode and some cheat codes. So I poked around, found them, and I got them working. So really, all I knew at this point is I want to turn all the gems blue. I don't know what that means, but I know I want to make it happen. So I looked at the cheat codes, and that gave me a way in. Some of the cheat codes had text that said levels reset, blah, blah, blah. I could search for the key presses. And eventually in that sea of nonsense code, here it is. This is the code that handles the cheat codes. And there it is. There's the code that turns a single gem blue. So once I have that, I'm in. All I do is copy that code 64 times for every gem, turn them all blue, run the code, and you know what? It's all blue! Yeah. But then, about 20 milliseconds later, my favorite part of development happened. They all blew up, because it turns out that's just what happens. And that's when the rest of the game really came out to me, because that's when I knew more than just they're all blue. Because this game actually has lots of little game modes, lots of 10 levels of stupid nonsense it does. And they all came about just by surprise, because a lot of this is just poking the game engine, changing codes, turning them all blue, and seeing what happens. It turns out this game engine is very robust, and a lot of the game is just seeing what happens when they throw outrageous, stupid conditions it never asked for. So, for example, I changed the number to 7, and I turn on to hypercubes. I change a variable to true, they all catch fire. That's kind of funny. I tried to make the text say the level, so fire jewels, name that level. The font is missing the letters, so it says Bejeweled, which is as if weird aliens made this game and they're trying to tell us something. So I thought it was funny, so that's in the game. So really, the end of the game was less designed and more discovered. As I understood the game engine, it was like a natural response, poking this beast and finding what I found delightful and sharing that with everyone else. So didn't have to design anything, it just happened by accident. Another fun thing is, even though I'm in this terrible reverse engineering nonsense terrible world, it really feels like playing a puzzle game or an RPG or something. I have these clues, I know how game engines are supposed to work, I have a theory, I test it, I get a result, I get a surprising result. I learn things like items in an RPG I can then use in other places. Modding and reverse engineering is a form of game dev, but it's also very fun. It felt like I was playing a game the designers made for me, even though they probably hate what I've done to their game. Yeah, they'd love it. But there's also interesting the design considerations that go into something like this. Even though I'm just messing around finding stupid stuff, I still want to get the pacing right. I still have to decide if I want to make the first level way too loud on purpose. Stuff like that. I find when you're making something absurd, something silly, the more polish and care you put into it, the better it is. Because why is this stupid world that shouldn't exist has been made so crafted so carefully that just adds to the experience and confuses people even more. This slide says funny. So here's an interesting story of, I think sums up the comedy of this game. Is I had a level here that I cut, and this was the level, you load the level and it's completely empty, and you're like, what do I do? I'm scared, I'm terrified, Brandon, what are you doing? And then all the gems come down slowly, and you know what's gonna happen, they all blow up, and you have to sit through like the 10-second explosion animation again. And it's really funny, a lot of my friends liked it. One of my friends said it was their favorite level, and if I cut it, they'd try and kick me and punch me. But despite their threats, I took it out of the game, even though I liked it. And the reason is, it didn't match the comedy of the game I was going for. And that is, that's the thing about absurdism. Something you may have heard in improv or other things is don't try and be funny. Even though you're making a funny world, it's the world's job to be funny. The world has to be silly. The people in the world have to take it seriously. So the gems can never break character. The game, this level felt like me, playing a prank on you or something. It felt like the gems being sneaky and cheeky. But that doesn't fit because they're in on the joke. That's not something that would naturally happen in this game. Whereas everything else, it basically feels like it belongs because it did, because that's the natural response when I did stuff. So, yeah, like, funny. And the last thing I want to touch on is graphic design, which is yeah. So there's the logo for the game, Bejeweled. And for me, when I make my games, I try to make them very polished, very reliable. Even though I'm hacking this terrible code together, I still make sure it works on all the platforms, blah, blah, blah. But the problem is that means sometimes I can't think out the box. So if I were to try to make a logo like this, I would have photoshopped it perfectly, it would have looked too clean, and it would have sucked. Instead, one of my friends sent this to me as a joke. They made this in MS Paint. I think and as soon as I saw it, I knew this was perfect for the game. I loved it so much. It's so violent, just it's smashed to the side with no regard. You can see the cropping around the letters that don't even line up properly. It's the perfect energy the game deserves. And it's something I never would have thought of. And the reason for that, the solution to that, is of course Sabby again. You thought you'd not hear the end of it. Yeah. Community is important. We need to be in a place where we can not only succeed on our commercial projects, whatever, but just having fun. This game, non-commercial is free. Play it right now on my website if you can scan that. Good luck. And you need a place where you can be like-minded people, just enjoying each other's company, making silly stuff, and yeah, I'll let that consume you. But yeah, I think I'm the last talk, so thank you everyone for coming, and see Sabby.